years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
And we sing from Infection City, just across from the other Infection City. It's the Ramble with Alex Bennett. We go until midnight tonight. Hello, everybody. How are you? Good to see you again. Glad you could join us this evening as we come to you from, as I say, the most infected city in the world. Okay, although getting less infected, we had a better report today from our governor. It still isn't great. We still have to stay indoors. We still have to hunker down. We have to fight this damn coronavirus. Otherwise, we'll all be dead, especially me because of my age and pre-existing conditions and all that other crap. You know what I want to do? I got to set this up, though, so that we can do it. I want to go look at our map, first of all, because this is the map that we look at each and every night to see exactly what's happening out there in the world around us with this lovely coronavirus, which now has infected 2,704,676 human beings on the planet and killed 190,549 of them. Here are those totals. You can see, I think my arrow shows up there. Okay, good. I'm glad that does. Total tests conducted in the United States, 4,660,250. I'm not one of them. Okay. Why? I don't know. They haven't called me. Let's go to the U.S. Let's go to the U.S. map. I'm kind of like I'm doing a weather forecast. Looks a little sparser around in here now. Kind of clearing up. You see that? Yeah. And the deaths in New York yesterday were something like 430. It's going down. It's going down. Total deaths in New York City, though, that would include all the boroughs. It's 16,388 deaths. Okay. Spain coming in a second place with 22,157 deaths in the entire country. So here we are. We're back at the U.S. again. Wow, that's starting to clear up, because on other nights it was a lot. It was more filled up in this area in here. Okay, all right, but it's not anymore. And let me see here. France is third. Germany is fourth. United Kingdom fifth. Turkey is sixth. Seventh is Iran. Eighth is China, if China is telling us the truth. Everybody doubts that China is telling us the truth. How many died in China, by the way? 4,636 deaths in China. That's less people than died in New York City. Okay? So anyway, that's that. Okay? We also have this other map, this other piece of information that I got. Let me see if I can get this. This is the New York City COVID thing. And we have, let's see, so far hospitalized 36,000. We have 141,754 cases, of which 36,723 were hospitalized. Confirmed deaths, 10,290. It looks higher than the one. Oh, it said New York City. I don't know. I don't get which one is right and which one is wrong. Is it this one or is it this one? Because when I go up to the U.S. here and we look at New York, it says 16,388 deaths. Okay, and what they're saying is it's 10,000 confirmed deaths. Oh, well, anyway, probable deaths, 5,121, okay? Daily counts here, we have our daily counts. This is, as of the 21st, I guess, was 105 in cases in New York City, new cases in New York City. See how this is kind of going up, but now it's going down. Okay? Hospitalizations, look at this, going down again. And the reason I'm telling you somewhere like out in Nevada about what's happening here in New York is because we're the canary in the coal mine, okay? And because, quite frankly, this affects me. The deaths, look at how high they got. And one day we did 546. I think we did more than that on one day. But anyway, all of these have gone down, 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 down. And but I don't get this, because this one doesn't seem to fit with what our mayor said. Let's look at the rates by age. Here I am, right here, right? There's me. Okay. Cases, my group's the highest. Deaths, my group is the highest. Hospitalizations, my group is the highest. And rates by sex, I'm a guy. Cases, male. Number one in hospitalizations, male, and in deaths, male again. Okay, all right, okay. So that's our looking at the map. It's like looking at the weather map. Let's go over to Bob with the weather here, and then I come up with this crap. Okay. So anyway, that's our thing for tonight. Gee, I was over scanning again. Oh well, so what? Who cares? Anyway. So listen, what happened today, every morning when I wake up around 11, I immediately run and ask Marjorie, when's the boy coming on? And we're referring to our governor, Andrew Cuomo, every day about 11:30 gives a thing. Oh, by the way, you know what I didn't do here? You know what I didn't do tonight? You know, do I look different? You know, this looks pretty good, actually, all things considered. But when I do this, now I look gorgeous. I forgot to turn on the lights. Ah, boy. That's what happens when I have two pills that I take. I take Xanax, and one some nights, and on other nights when I don't take the Xanax, I take a thing for my neuropathy, which is like Lyrica, and it makes me forget stuff. And I forgot to turn on the lights. I thought there was something wrong with the picture. But anyway, now you can see how lovely I am. Anyway, I get up and I listen to our governor, because our governor is really gives a great summation of what's going on and shows you the figures and what they mean and why you have to do this and why we've got to do that and what has to be done. Yeah, he's really good about it. He's really terrific. And so we watch him every day. And occasionally he gets a little mad because somebody did something that really pissed him off. The other day, I played a thing that he did that took him, how long did it take? 15 minutes, something like that, maybe longer, about Trump. Well, today, oh my, did he ever go after, well, you'll see who he went after. I want you to see this. It runs about 5 minutes, and you'll be if you are against this government, as it were, you will definitely be really cheering our governor on. Listen to what he did here. You'll see what it's all about. It's all self-explanatory.
Also, I want to speak to a point from our friends in Washington. Senator McConnell, who is the head of the Senate. You know, we've been talking about funding for state and local governments, and it was not in the bill that the House is going to pass today. They said, don't worry, the next bill. As soon as the Senate passed it, this current bill, Senator Mitch McConnell goes out and he says, maybe the states should declare bankruptcy, okay? This is one of the really dumb ideas of all time. You know, I said to my colleagues in Washington, I would have insisted that state and local funding was in this current bill, because I don't believe they want to fund state and local governments. And not to fund state and local governments is incredibly short-sighted. They want to fund small business, fund the airlines, I understand that. But state and local government funds police and fire and teachers and schools. How do you not fund police and fire and teachers and schools in the midst of this crisis? Yes, airlines are important. Yes, small business is important. So are police and fire and healthcare workers, who are the frontline workers. And when you don't fund the state, then the state can't fund those services. Makes no sense to me. Also makes no sense that the entire nation is dependent on what the governors do to reopen. We've established that. It's up to this governor, it's up to this governor, it's up to this governor. But then you're not going to fund the state government? You think I'm going to do it alone? How do you think this is going to work? And then to suggest we're concerned about the economy, states should declare bankruptcy? That's how you're going to bring this national economy back? By states declaring bankruptcy? You want to see that market fall through the cellar? Let New York State declare bankruptcy. Let Michigan declare bankruptcy. Let Illinois declare bankruptcy. Let California declare bankruptcy. You will see a collapse of this national economy. So just dumb. Vicious is saying, when Senator McConnell said, this is a blue state bailout. What he's saying is, if you look at the states that have coronavirus problems, they tend to be Democratic states. New York, California, Michigan, Illinois, they are Democratic states. So if you fund states that are suffering from the coronavirus, they're Democratic states. Don't help New York State because it is a Democratic state. How ugly a thought. I mean, just think of what he's saying. People died. 15,000 people died in New York, but they were predominantly Democrats. So why should we help them? I mean, for crying out loud, if there was ever a time you're going to put aside your pettiness and your partisanship and this political lens that you see the world through, Democrat and Republican, and we help Republicans, but we don't help Democrats. That's not who we are. It's just not who we are as a people. I mean, if there's ever a time for humanity and decency, now is the time. And if there was ever a time to stop your obsessive political bias and anger, which is what it's morphed into, just a political anger, now is the time. And you want to politically divide this nation now, with all that's going on? How irresponsible and how reckless. I'm the governor of all New Yorkers. Democrat, Republican, Independent, I don't even care what your political party is. I represent you. And we are all there to support each other. This is not the time or the place or the situation to start your divisive politics. It is just not. And that's why, look, our rule has been very simple from day one. There is no red and blue. There should have never been a red and blue when it comes to any important issue, but certainly not now. And that's not what this country is all about. It's not red and blue, it's red, white, and blue. And when we talk about New York tough, we're all New York tough, Democrats and Republicans. And we're all smart, and we're all disciplined, and we're all unified, and we're all in this together. And we understand that, and that's how we operate. And we operate with love. And we're strong enough to say love. To say love is not a weakness, it is a strength, and New Yorkers are that strong.
Wow. Huh? Phew. Boy, did he rip one for Mitch McConnell, and speaks out exactly for something which is very important in this country, that we don't make this a political issue. It's not a political issue. Now, let's see, who do we feel sorry for today? Okay, sometimes I feel sorry for the woman I refer to as Scarfy. I can't remember her name now. She wears the scarf and gives some of the medical stuff at Trump's soirees at 6 o'clock at night. And then there's Dr. Fauci, who, all he wants to do is give you the facts, and that's what he does. And then Trump is standing over there going, he's not saying what I said. He's not agreeing with what I said. He's not agreeing with what I do. And he's always trying to get these people to agree with him. I mean, there was some embarrassing footage the other day where he went to Fauci and he said, well, this is so, but really that could be so, right? Right? He was trying to lead him into giving him the answers he wanted to hear. Okay? And so I feel sorry for Fauci in those kind of situations. Now, today, the person I'm going to feel sorry for is a guy by the name of Bill Bryan. Never heard of this guy before, and I don't think Trump did until he heard that he had something to say that might somehow agree with something he had said. And his name's Bill Bryan, and he's the Science and Technology Director of the Department of Homeland Security. Now, I don't know what exactly his credentials are, but I'll assume he knows what he's talking about. A while back, Trump said, well, when summer comes, this is all going to go away because during warm weather, these things always go away. And the medical experts said, no way, it's not necessarily going to go away. And just like Dr. Fauci is saying, it's sure as hell going to come back, all right? It's going to come back. And then Trump, of course, goes, yeah, but it might not, right? Yeah. Well, anyway, he got up. He talked about the fact that during the warmer months, when the sun is out, the ultraviolet rays can destroy the virus within a matter of minutes. Okay, that ultraviolet light will kill it. Now, I don't understand that because you have ultraviolet light all the time. Even during the winter, when you have clear skies but the temperature is 38, you still have ultraviolet light. So I don't know why it hasn't been killing it up to this point, but I'll give in to his kind of science. And then at a later point in his description of what was going on, which Trump brought him in to support his feeling that it was going to get worse get better in the summer. He said that, and be sure in your home that you clean all non-porous surfaces. Porous surfaces, the virus can't cling to, but non-porous surfaces like sinks and so on and so forth, it can. So wipe it off with disinfectant or use bleach. Bleach, he said, will kill the virus in something like 10 seconds or something like it. Some amazing amount of time that bleach will actually kill the virus if it's on a surface. Well, Brainiac then comes into the picture after it's all over. And he decides that he has an idea, and he has actually the solution, as President of the United States, how we can solve this whole problem. Now remember the statement that bleach will kill the virus in a matter of seconds. Disinfectants will do it within a matter of a couple of minutes. Ultraviolet light can kill the virus. Okay? That was his determination. This is your president, who some of you voted for.
So I ask Bill a question that probably some of you are thinking of if you're totally into that world, which I find to be very interesting. So supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light, and I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting. Right, and then I see the disinfectant, where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number in the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting to me.
Sounds interesting to him. Mm-hmm. Oh, God. What a moron! Number one, you cannot put ultraviolet light inside of people. And even if you did, it would not kill this virus once it's doing its damage biologically. Okay? Any decent human being knows that. Any smart human being knows that. But we're not talking about a president who's working with a fully functional brain. And then the suggestion that we inject into people disinfectants and bleach, that was it, you know. Oh, Mr. President, thank you for saving our lives. Gee, we injected bleach into this guy, and guess what? He died. Wait a minute, we put some disinfectant into this guy, and he died. I mean, why does this guy even say this kind of stuff? And I'm sure I don't know how the people working with him can stand this behavior. I mean, it's just unfathomable what happens with this guy. So that was our President de la United States of America. We all elected him for president. Well, I didn't vote for him, but we elected him as a body of people, and it's kind of sad. So far, again, as the ultraviolet light is concerned, during the summer, ultraviolet light exists all year long. And one of the reporters brought it up, said, hey, you know, I mean, it's always hot in Singapore, and they seem to have continued to have a problem. And you know, the sun is out shining hot and bright, and, you know, that doesn't seem to be working there. So what makes you think that all of a sudden, and they couldn't answer that question, you know. But there are places in the world where it's very warm, and whatever. I don't know. I give up. Anyway, our lines are open if you want to call and talk to us tonight. I have something here that Vernon Nunn sent me, and I hope Vernon calls, because he and Phil were having a what I call a pissing match back and forth, and CCing me on it. And it's kind of an interesting thing that Vernon was trying to say. Let me turn that down. That scares me. It's Brian Neary, ladies and gentlemen, as I live and as I collectively breathe. Here he is. There we go. Brian Neary starts off the night. Hello, Brian. How are you?
My hour will be sponsored by bleach.
Yeah.
A little in here, and it even says it kills bacteria and viruses right on there.
Okay, so I guess we should inject that, as the president suggested. You know, there's some dope now who's going to listen to what he said and is going to swallow some bleach. Okay? You know that. You know, the man has no sense of responsibility toward. You know, when I did radio shows to a large audience, not the size audience that I am now playing to, which is not quite as large. Let me see here. Wait a minute. Have we got him? Oh yeah, there we got him. Okay. Let me see. I got to put. Let me see here. We'll put. We'll go to source 2, and we'll make it Mr. Zeller. There he is. Okay. All right. There he goes. And he should pop right in. There we go. Hello, Jeff. But when I was doing a radio show, I always didn't want to give wrong information, because when you give wrong information, some people may take it seriously if you're wrong about it. And so you can't give information which might be interpreted as we have some audio coming back at us. Anyway, you can't do that as a hello, Charlie. What's all that noise?
Sorry, close the window.
Oh, okay, all right. Anyway, anyways, I was saying, you've got to be careful about what you say. You can't do anything which will endanger somebody, because there are people listening in the audience who might not understand what you're saying is either a joke or it's just a hypothesis or whatever. And the president does this all the time. He puts people in danger by giving them false theories. I mean, he talks about fake news. What happens to this? Isn't this like fake information he's giving out? I mean, how irresponsible of him to do this. I don't understand it. And I'm sure his people tell him not to do this, and he still goes ahead and he does it. Anyway, let me go to my next frame there because we have Phil in there. Yes, Charlie.
Trump is right that UV rays can kill viruses, bleach can kill viruses. The problem is they kill people too. The level intensity that it would take to kill the virus would kill a human being.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't use it on this virus when it's inside a human being. Just like you can't use bleach. Bleach will kill a human being if you inject it.
That's right. You're right.
Yeah, but tanning beds have UV lights.
Not at the level that'll kill the virus.
That's right. Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Yeah, but tanning beds have UV lights.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Somebody's got their radio on. They got John. You've got your audio on. Turn it off. Will you, please? Please. Okay. Now I think we can hear you.
Yeah, it was YouTube. I was watching you on YouTube. You can't do YouTube and Skype at the same time.
No, you can't.
You can't.
Were you saying something, John, about that?
Yeah, you can't do Skype and YouTube at the same time.
Okay, yes. Back to Phil. Yes, Phil.
I saw an article recently that the airplanes were going to use or are using UV light to disinfect the plane, the seats, the armrests, the surface areas of the planes. And I guess this technology is out there because there's also CPAP cleaner machines that use UV light, and there's also
I have a toothbrush.
Yeah,
that has a UV
head.
Yeah,
you stick it in a thing, you push the button, and it gives you some blue light. And it works. So
well, that's the stupidity our president works with, because if I'm not mistaken, tell me if I'm wrong, Brian, but this is a different kind of bacteria, a different kind of thing, and it does not necessarily react to ultraviolet light. And at the very least, if you have a plane and up above they're shining down ultraviolet light, if you put your hand under the seat, you can have the virus there, and it will not have been affected by the ultraviolet light.
These people on the plane, they're normal people that clean the surfaces, and they're using UV to clean surfaces. They're not shining it down.
Yeah, but that's before anybody gets in the plane, Phil.
Right,
No,
you can't
sure,
do
you
that.
Phil,
you'll kill
this stupidity is killing us all, Phil.
You can't use that UV on people.
They're not using it on people. They clean.
Right, that's why it works. It's because they're using it on inanimate objects like seats.
Yeah, that's where you'd use UV.
Right, you don't use it on people.
Did Trump actually say you use it on people?
Did you hear? I played the. I can play it again. I can play. Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Yeah,
I can play it again. Listen closely, and everybody be quiet because it's going to come in on the same channel that you guys are on. But this is what he said after those statements were made. And if you tell me this isn't the stupidest remark you've ever heard, I just will lose my lunch.
So I'm ask Bill a question that probably some of you are thinking of if you're totally into that world, which I find to be very interesting. So supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light, and I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting. Right, and then I see the disinfectant, where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number on the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting to me.
There you go. Phil,
I heard the word suppose. Could you?
Oh, geez, Phil.
This is outside the box thinking, and he's asking questions.
Phil. Would you
listen,
even suggest?
heard
Would
that
you
one.
even
That was
suggest that we put Clorox in the veins of a person with coronavirus?
Some people, but
No, wait a minute. But that's exactly what he was saying, Phil.
he said, "Hey, what about this stuff? Can you look into this? Is there a way you could do this?" The man is thinking outside the
Oh,
box.
I'm glad he's thinking outside the box.
He's trying to stifle creativity. That's what you're trying to do.
Creativity? Are you kidding me? That's not creativity.
The answer could be no, that doesn't work. No, that's not a good idea.
The answer could be, listen, you stupid dolt. Listen to you stupid piece of shit.
What's that?
You're killing people with this kind of information. And I don't know how these people even put up with staying with this guy. These doctors must be going crazy.
It's selective listening. And your friend Vernon.
No, it's not selective. No, it is not selective listening, Phil.
Yeah, I heard the whole thing. I heard him say, well, what about? Can you look into this? Is there any way?
Yeah, like they've got better things to do than think about putting somehow shoving ultraviolet light into human beings.
Everybody's gonna hit it.
Okay, let other people talk, Phil. I'm going to do what Trump does. I'm going to cut you off and go to other people now.
You to put a light socket up your ass and turn it on. He said, "What about?"
I'm going to open up a UV car wash. You'll be my first customer, right? I'll give you a month's worth of car washes for $80 each. You can come down and do it.
Ooh. Yeah.
I think he's trying to sell tanning beds.
Brian, your take on what the president said.
Oh, unbelievable. Yeah, when he started talking about the UV part, and then you say, no, you're not going to say this about the disinfectant. And then he starts talking about the disinfectant. Right when they switched over from CNN, that's the first thing they started saying is like, is he trying to have people try this? I mean, how would you try it?
Well, you see, maybe he wasn't trying to have anybody try it, but he didn't think that he has a lot of stupid people who voted for him, okay? And that these people are stupid enough to say, the president says bleach will work. I think I'll down a bottle of bleach and see what happens.
If that's what the people heard that didn't vote for him, they are the stupid ones. Because that's not what I heard.
Well, I know, but you're stupid because you heard something you didn't hear. It's like the stuff you sent me last night with Pelosi when none of it.
Phil, you're not that stupid. We know that.
Yeah,
Alex,
come on, Phil. We know this has got to just be an act.
I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt, and we know better than that.
Yeah. And I saw, and I sent them a thing, and it not only incriminated Pelosi.
No, it didn't.
De Blasio.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. It was all these people who were saying what they knew at the moment. Okay.
Yep.
And Pelosi, all Pelosi was doing was trying to keep the Chinese people from panicking because they thought this was going to be taken out on them. And she said, we're going to be diligent and we're going to make sure that we're going to do everything we can to make sure this doesn't become a problem here.
She's guilty as charged.
No. You didn't listen to it, Phil. You listened with a different head. Ah, boy.
I sent it to a few other people. I don't know if they listened to it or not.
Yeah, well,
Phil, even if the president said we should look into that, in somehow injecting bleach or something, I mean, isn't that sort of weird?
No. Not, I mean, the guy's trying to think outside the box. He doesn't have a filter. He says what's on his mind, and that's what I like about him.
Hey, let's think out of the box. Why don't we use voodoo dolls to kill the virus?
I give him credit for that. But no one else can turn around and say you're out of your fucking mind because no one will. Yeah. Someone has to be able to turn around and say, no, I don't think that's such a good idea, Mr. President, because if they do, they won't be there tomorrow.
That's what he's asking. He says,
no. He would. You know what would happen?
He didn't
Look what he does to the press. He can't even get a question answered. I mean, He can't even get a question at him because he berades them. People, I know that they berate him. I agree.
Yeah, sure do.
But
Really bad.
you know, you gotta. He won't. You won't be there tomorrow if you ask him. Maybe you should think about what you just said.
Well, I like that Clorox idea. You know?
Even if that, well, wouldn't that guy present?
That then, Phil. Inject some of that in your veins.
No. I was going to save it for you, Charlie.
Patrick,
Like a white tornado.
Patrick Blazik has just joined us. Patrick, did you hear any of that that I just played? The president's.
No, I just got out of the shower.
Oh, okay. You're lucky because you would have really lost your cookies over what he said. His suggestion that maybe bleach would work if we injected bleach into people.
He said, hey, look into it.
Bleach kills germs. Yeah.
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 Let's inject bleach into
Do you think anybody with any medical decency would even think about looking into that stupid theory that you could stick UV light inside people and kill the virus?
How do you know you can't? They do it on Star Trek.
Patrick, hi.
I'm gonna guess that everyone's favorite doctor, Mangala, probably did try different shit like that with bleach and weird shit. So I'm guessing it's already been tried to see if human can survive it. And considering the number of people that made it out of Mangala grips, I'm thinking no. Not to make light of the subject, but when you brought up bleach, I seem to remember reading about him injecting various chemicals, and bleach may have been one of them, and it certainly killed whatever virus was in them along with the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
So it was effective.
Virus, all right.
Well, I guess Trump's doctor has got to be Dr. Mengele. I mean, he'd be his primary physician. You know.
That seemed bizarre to me. I mean, I didn't hear it, but if he said bleach, that's probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard him say.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was saying he was referring. He didn't say bleach. He was referring to the stuff that the doctor mentioned that worked as getting rid of the virus, such as, and he did mention disinfectants. You know.
Yeah. Lysol. I mean, I spray my gloves down with Lysol when I come in the house, but I don't spray it in my eyes or anything.
Yeah, well, I have some disinfectant, Mr. Clean, that we use here all over the house right now. And after the show, Marjorie has some needles that she uses for her allergies. And I'm going to just fill it up with some of that Mr. Clean and inject it and see what happens.
Give it a try.
Look like
What are you
Mr.
going to lose?
Yeah, what are you going to lose? Couldn't hurt.
What do you got to lose?
Yeah, you're gonna die anyway. So you know.
If that guy had that report, wouldn't if Trump have heard that report before the press conference? You know, you think that he would have presented that to him, and then he would have maybe brought up those ideas into him with him in private, but not like.
I think everybody's afraid to tell him that he's full of shit. Okay, they're afraid. You know, they're afraid to confront him and say you're wrong on this, because he can't be wrong on anything, which of course makes him a sociopath.
He's not a sociopath.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on.
Admit, he gave me 2,000 definitions of a sociopath and says, this is Trump. I said, this is everybody on Gabnet.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Then the people here in Gabnet are going to hate you. I have the list here. It's only 15. It's only 15. Okay?
Yeah.
One. Obviously, let's see here. This is these are the signs of a sociopath. Has glibness and superficial charm. Well, I don't think he has any kind of charm, so he may not be. Is manipulative and cunning. Feels entitled to things. Sound like anybody you know, Phil? Is a pathological liar.
I don't think he lies.
Does not see others around him as people, only as targets or opportunities. Has shallow emotions. Has a new for what is it? Has a new for stimulation political rallies. Well, he has to have like the political rallies. Exhibits callousness or lack of empathy. 9 believes that he is all powerful, all knowing, and entitled to every wish. Number 10 does not accept blame himself, but blames others, or even acts he obviously committed. He's authoritarian, he is secretive, he is paranoid, and does not perceive that anything is wrong with them, and exhibits extreme narcissism. Anybody you know?
Yeah, most people that are walking on this earth.
Oh, really? Does anybody feel they fit any of these descriptions?
I am sure they do. There's got to be a couple that fit everybody that puts pants on in the morning.
No, but he fits all 15.
No, doesn't. The media is repeating this bullshit.
No. Stop with that. Stop with it, Phil. I'm tired of that. The media this, the media that. The media has only one job, and that's to report the news. Okay?
No, they don't do it.
And if the news doesn't fit his definition of what he thinks the news is, then they're fake news.
If the news doesn't fit, you'll make it up to fit. That's how it works.
I'm not making it up to fit. I just played you one of the stupidest remarks a president could possibly make in a press conference, and you're there trying to defend it.
You analyzed it out of context.
No, I didn't. Anybody think I analyzed it out of context? I just played the damn thing.
The man speaks off of his hip, comes up with an idea, doesn't have a filter. He's not secretive.
Phil, do you want somebody that stupid?
Hey, he's fine with me. And he's the president.
Okay, time out, Phil. Time out. Anybody else want to say something? Yes, Charlie.
Kim Jong-un is not feeling very well after his surgery, and Donald Trump expressed condolences for Kim Jong-un. And he's not expressed any condolences for not one of the 50,000 Americans who have already died.
He didn't even give his condolences today to the brother of Elizabeth Warren, who died of COVID.
Yeah.
He has said many times.
He didn't say anything about him, and I think that because she is a major political personality, it would have behooved him to do it.
It probably would have, but a lot of things get overlooked. And
like COVID when it was coming into this country.
Yeah, and just like Pelosi did. And
Phil, quit monopolizing the conversation. Let some of these other people say something. Charlie, do you have your hand up again?
When I opened my mouth.
I think Jeff had his hand up.
Yeah,
Jeff?
Yeah.
My understanding is every day, whatever Trump has to say, it's not true. And it's just going to give you a headache. And that's why I don't listen to him anymore.
Yeah. I don't blame you. Yeah, who has his hand up? Let me see here.
I do.
Okay. All right. Yes. Oh, yeah. John Larkin. Okay, John.
Yeah, I just want to say I saw this statistic. South Korea had their first positive test of coronavirus as we did. They have 180 deaths to the state, and we have over 50,000. So.
Mm-hmm. Wait a minute.
California had their biggest jump today.
Somebody's giving us a phone call here. Let me see here. I'm going to stop. I'm going to not renew this phone, by the way. Yes, who is this? Hello, who is this? You see, well, what a waste of my time. Let me see here. Okay, well, are you there? No, they're not there. Okay, so why am I wasting my time? Anyway, where were we? What?
If he got through it, but in full house.
I don't care. No, it wouldn't be a full house.
Yeah, there's 9 of us now.
No, there is not 9. There's 8.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 is 9.
Well, then who don't I have? Who don't I have up here? I don't know. I have 8.
Yeah, but look at the Skype.
Yeah, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5678.
Yeah, you're missing somebody.
Plus Alex.
What do you mean? I've got on Skype. I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then me.
Correct.
You got John Larkin.
Yes, I got everybody. I got
Alex.
8 people. I got 8 people.
8 is 5.
Phil, I got 8
Did
people.
Did you
8 plus
inject
you.
some bleach or what?
You got 8 plus 1 is you. Is
Yes. Okay, 9. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
9. Yeah, 8
I'm
plus
not
1.
missing anybody right now.
Take another shot of bleach.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody got some? You got some, don't you, Brian? Yeah.
Yes. Do a couple more squirts.
Is that what they use at the company?
No, this is what they said. They say kills 99.9% of bacteria and viruses right there.
If one of the people who work for you came to you and said, "I've got an idea. Maybe we could solve this coronavirus by using bleach injected into people," what would you say to him? Like before you told him where the door was.
Make sure he got scanned at the front door. Yeah, but California had the most deaths. They hit a peak today.
They did?
I don't know what the number was, but they had the most deaths they've had so far.
Really?
Any particular area of California?
I didn't see. Yeah. They also talked about a nursing home in San Francisco that had 4 deaths, and they said they had like 65 tested positive for coronavirus at that facility, that nursing home.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, 100 at a homeless shelter.
Wow.
But you hear me going, "Oh, no." That sound you hear is me hanging up on this person who keeps trying to call. Don't call. Oh, there they are again. Wait a minute. Let me see who they are. Let me see if we can even get them on. Who's calling? See? Nobody. What a waste of my time.
Could be a robocall.
No, it's not a robocall. I don't think so.
Do you have solar panels?
Yeah, carpet?
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, I don't know. I played. I don't know how many of you heard Cuomo tonight about Moscow Mitch and what he had to say, and he started a whole.
Just as bizarre.
Huh?
Just as bizarre.
Well, he intimated even more so that he said, number one, he said that the state should have to file for bankruptcy. He said, and then, not again, what I'm going to do? I bet I can block this person. Let me see here for a moment.
What if it's Jack?
No, if it's Jack, no, it's not.
Sometimes he used to call on the phone.
Yeah, well, I've got
See the number?
Hmm?
You can't see the number?
It's a 650 area code.
That's Santa Clara. That's near Brian's area.
Yeah.
The peninsula.
Yeah.
Peninsula.
Yeah, Peninsula.
Yeah, you're 408. Yeah, he's Peninsula.
Yeah. So anyway, where was I? People keep interrupting me here, ruining my thinking, especially on a day when I took that pill last night that makes me forget everything the next day.
You need to inject some of that Clorox.
Yeah. It just bothers me greatly as to how stupid this guy is. I mean, how absolutely uninformed and unintelligent he is. And rather than attempt to learn something, he can't be like Cuomo, who somehow seems to have nothing but empathy running through his body. And even if he doesn't have it, he fakes it really well. And, the old saying goes, if you can't be sincere, at least fake it, And Trump is even incapable of faking it. He's incapable of reading printed matter on a page. And in fact, I don't think he even reads those speeches before he reads them. Because he's like some kid at a bar mitzvah who has to read the Torah, and he doesn't want to, but he's got to. Otherwise, he's not going to get bar mitzvahed. Yeah, right, exactly. And all that's what you
was saying, but I said it pretty good.
I mean, I can't stand it anymore. It's getting to the point where we call it the comedy hour, is what we call it. You know. Yes. How do you feel about this, Tony?
You know, it's almost like when you watch him now, there's really no reason for Trump to go up there every night. It's just so stupid, really. I mean, when he said about, like you said, like he even alluded to it, like I could have heard it wrong. Was he saying if you go into a suntan that
no,
it may kill it? Was he? It's almost like or is he saying the heat? Maybe he's misinterpreting it.
If we all had an orange skin like him, we'd be immune. Yeah.
I mean, even Phil, you have to admit, does he really need to be up there every night?
He has to be president of the United States, whether you like it or not, and that's his job.
But it wasn't his job until he saw it was working for Cuomo. He didn't think to go up every night until he saw Cuomo doing it, and then on top of it, he does it because he's missing his rallies. Yes, Brian.
Yeah.
Exactly.
His job right now is to report on coronavirus, and he's not doing that. He talks 5 or 10 minutes, and then he talks his, it's like you're saying, his polls again.
Yeah.
Starts talking.
It's what's important to him.
But here's a question I pose to you, though. Is he, I mean, this may sound totally off the wall, but is he trying to bring himself out every night and trying to basically job the country into believing, like, if we come out there every night and sell the story, and I march that like you said, Alex, I can't stand that woman, Bricks. I think she's a moron.
You mean Scarfy?
And she comes out with the scarf. She plays the whole part, like, the fucking moron, I call her, really. And I think they're trying to sell a bogus bullshit. They know they mishandled it, but if we march ourselves out in front of the TV set every night, we might be able to win this election still, even with 50,000 people dead. We can pull this across.
I mean, that woman is so smart. That woman is so smart. She's got more in that intelligence in a scarf than you'll ever have in your entire life. You may know about comics and you may be a nice guy, but you shouldn't denigrate people that are trying to help you like that.
No, what we denigrate are people who are complicit in.
I think she's selling herself.
What we're denigrating is somebody who is complicit in facilitating somebody's ugly habit that's killing America. It's like these people are afraid to say no to Trump. When they get up there, Pence gets up there, he's always going, and Mr. President, blah, 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 and Mr. President, and wonderful job you're doing, Mr. President. And then the next person gets up and says, thank you very much, Mr. President, and then tells him whatever he wants to hear. The only one who doesn't do it is Fauci, and he's not too happy about Fauci being up there, because the other night when Fauci was up there, I looked at Trump, and he's standing there like this, he goes like this. This is how he goes, And he had a look on his face because Fauci was saying, no, this thing is definitely going to have a second wave in the winter, and get used to that idea. And Trump is trying to say, no, well, and then
the football draft tonight,
and then he says to Fauci, he says, well, it might not come, right? And Fauci went, no, it's coming, it's coming.
Well, he can ask questions.
Listen, when I was playing Trump, when I was playing the Trump track a couple minutes ago, so the audience could see it again, and so you could hear it. As you were watching it, you were laughing. Why were you laughing, Phil?
Yeah.
Oh, which Trump? Come on. You were talking about Trump and
the audio I played, and then you listened to it, and I was watching to see your reaction, and you were laughing.
I don't think so.
Yes, you were.
I'll look at it again later.
Yeah.
I don't remember laughing.
You can't look at it again later because you can't see you in that because I'm running Trump at the time. But I'm glad we gave you a good laugh.
Yeah, well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I don't think I was laughing at Trump. I was laughing at how you misinterpreted what he was saying.
Oh, really?
I believe that.
Everybody who's here, anybody think I misinterpreted what he said?
Your kangaroo court is never going to. It's like
Phil. Shut up for a second. I'm asking them.
It's no different.
I'm asking them.
Right.
We know what you think, Phil.
Yeah.
Anybody think that I was coloring it in any way? I mean, I heard what I heard, and you heard what you heard, and the only person who heard something different was Phil.
It's no different when Trump says it's this way, right? And then Alex says to you guys, it's this way, right?
Hey,
You know?
yeah, but I don't mind if anybody here tells me I'm full of shit, Phil.
Except me.
Huh?
I tell you you're full of shit.
Well, I know. I don't
you
take offense at that. You know.
I know you don't take offense.
Yeah.
You know.
If somebody told Trump if you drink Pop Rocks and Coca-Cola it'll kill the virus, he'd probably believe it.
Does. Try
Really?
it.
Yeah. What do they used to say?
They don't say, right? Yeah, whatever you say. I mean, you know what it is? It's like he can't even lie with a straight face anymore. And he's trying to do it, though. He's not honest.
Well, he's
almost
trying
comical,
to
really.
always deny something that he is on the record as having said.
Yeah.
You know, you could play the track for him, and then he said, "Well, that's fake news that they have that track." What do you mean? I mean, you said it. You tweeted it. You know, there's no questioning
When
you
here's
said
the
that.
question. Can I expel this, Alex? Remember when he tweeted last week to rise up the Second Amendment? What would you take that as?
Yeah.
A Second Amendment supporter. So I don't take it as anything other than supporting your rights.
She's cloning my mother. Hold on. Here we go.
Yeah, but that wasn't the only tweet, Phil.
He asked about that.
No, he mentioned that one as one of them.
Okay, fine.
Well, what'd you think of the rest of them?
That's how he stirred him up.
I'm not obsessed with what he says and doesn't say. You know, I don't spend my day looking at his tweets.
Mm-hmm. Okay, who is this?
Sure. You know, I get up in the morning, I go to work. You know, that's my job.
I have no idea who this is. Who is calling?
Hi, Alex.
Yeah, who is it?
This is Serafin Castillo from the Bay Area.
Yeah, Serafin. Can you turn your camera on?
No, I'm in a place where the lighting is terrible, so let me just go with this. I've had a tough time getting a hold of you this evening. I'm sorry for the phone calls that I made that were wasting your time.
Yeah.
But it seems I got fast busies on every single one and never heard your voice.
Oh, okay. All right. But anyway, well, why don't you quickly say what you have to say, because you're not on. You don't have the you don't have a camera, and it's kind of not fun not seeing you. So why don't you say what you have to say?
You got it, Alex. I've been a loyal listener for many years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this was a good platform to call in and talk about because your guys care, and there's some Bay Area guys there, including Phil, who probably heard the news today that the first COVID-19 death was in the Bay Area, and it was back in February. And it turned out it was my childhood and lifelong friend Patricia. Really? And I was totally shocked today when my wife called me after hearing it on, I think, CNN or something like that, letting me know that it was her who we knew had passed away already from a heart attack initially is what they told us. But it was even harder for a great person like her to be in such an infamous headline today.
Yeah, but
did she have any underlying conditions?
No, she was in great shape all of her life, and I just saw her about 5 years ago. So we all went to a fundraising dinner, and she was as good as gold. So we're all very much.
How old was she?
57.
Oh,
Well, according to the article, she was 57, and I knew that because we were the same age. But she was a year ahead of me school-wise.
Now, why did she? Now, tell me what the significance of her death was, besides the fact that you knew her and she was somebody you cared about. The significance was she was one of the first ones to be identified?
The first.
Well, currently, unless they find something different, she was actually the first death in
February 2nd.
Yeah. Do you know if she traveled?
Phil, let me ask the questions here.
No, I appreciate Phil's questions. Actually, I've been I got called by the San Francisco Chronicle and KTVU Channel 2. And basically right now the dad of the family is really ticked off because I guess the press has really come at him really bad, and he's requested family and friends not to contact the press about it and anything like that. But again, your forum is one that I've been with all my life, so I just thought I'd
let me ask you this. So I'm not getting it complete. You're saying she was what her significance was? She was the first person to get the coronavirus.
First person to die.
To die in where?
In the U.S.
In the U.S. But when did she die?
February 6th.
Oh, I see. Okay, I thought, and you just found out about it.
Yeah, we just found out. They just revealed that she died.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Initially, she was supposedly had died of a heart attack. Her daughter found her.
Mm-hmm.
And here, I'm born in Missouri. In Mountain View, whenever anybody dies, they go to the same funeral parlor, which is the Cusamanos. That, pretty much are pretty big in this area. So they have an obituary page where they just told me what happened.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Hold
on a second. You're having some trouble with your phone. Hold it just in one place, okay, so that it doesn't move because you're fading in and out.
You got it.
Okay, there you go. Anyway,
yeah, no, you got it.
Go ahead. Anyway,
but
and so they thought they didn't know that. Well, at the time,
she passed away at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
On February 6th. Everybody thought it was a heart attack. Her daughter found her dead.
How did they finally decide that it was coronavirus?
That was it.
I mean, this is coronavirus after the fact.
She didn't travel a lot, but
you're breaking up on us.
Really well known here in the Bay.
They did an autopsy on her, and they found out in the autopsy.
Yep.
I see. Okay.
Did she have any signs of the virus before she died?
No.
You wouldn't know because we weren't looking for it.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I talked to her brothers and sisters today, and according to her youngest brother, there were no signs. She was doing just fine.
And then one day they just found her dead of a heart attack.
Yeah, her daughter came home from school and found her dead. And the autopsy, they didn't do an autopsy, but they basically figured from everything they saw when they came to her, it's a heart attack.
Kevin?
So there was actually two of them, and the other one was like a week or two later. And what they found, it was from a post-mortem autopsy, and they say that they could find more. This is just the first two that they found before the first official death. So they could find more, and this is what they mean by finding asymptomatic possibilities that it was around beforehand. And that's why they were saying even with the possibility that it could have been spread community with the 49ers losing the Super Bowl, it could have been being spread had they won the Super Bowl at the parade. They were saying that it's a godsend that the 49ers didn't win the Super Bowl because it could have been spread during the parade. So, that would have been a good reason, because if she passed at that time, that was right around the time there would have been a parade, and if it was asymptomatic people around, it could have been ugly.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how this to begin with it came out at this time. I mean, you would think she had died, they had had a funeral, they buried her. And how did they all of a sudden find out that this was from Corona? Because at that point, I don't think we were really looking for it. Okay.
With autopsy, they must have done a post-mortem autopsy.
But
yeah, one of the things that I heard, said that
go ahead, Kevin.
No,
Brian.
The caller's trying to talk.
Yeah. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, Alex, this is Seraphin again. It was based on contact tracing. Apparently, there were other people who were involved in getting the coronavirus around that time. And when they, the coronavirus came into suspicion there because of a heart attack, there was some contact tracing done. And that's been what's brought those two cases here in the Bay Area to death, to the light, that is, before the Washington death. So that's the latest news. Is pretty much it was based on contact tracing. Even the family told me that there was some suspicion. I believe after she died, she was taken to El Camino Hospital in Mountain View, and that's maybe where most of the work was done with the county.
Wow. Well,
that's how they figured
and these people, these first people they found, from what I saw, had no contact with any other country. They had not been abroad.
Well, as I was trying to say before, she worked for a company called LAM Research here in the Bay Area, which is I think they're a semiconductor company or something like that. They're pretty big and well known. And in Fremont, and they have major ties to Taiwan and China. So it could have been anybody in her office, as far as I'm concerned, that might have traveled, because there's a lot of traveling at that time, that might have given it to her. But I don't think they've gotten that far in the contact tracing.
Well, if it had been this far along, we probably, and she'd gotten it now, she could be saved by them giving her detergent or bleach or something like that, solving the whole problem.
Goes to show you that the travel ban in China wasn't put in fast enough.
Well, the travel ban in China was it makes a big deal out of it, but the fact was the Chinese people were saying, "Well, we can't go in that way. We'll just go to London, and we'll by the way, while we're there, we'll give it to some people, and then we'll travel across the pond and go to New York City. Ta-da! Here we are, the most infected city in the world." Okay.
Plus,
so
he did that after the virus was already here. That's like, closing the barn door after the horse has already escaped.
Well, also what he did was, it's like if you have a balloon and you push one side of it, the air's got to go somewhere, so it goes to the other side. And that's exactly what you do. When you stop people from coming here this way, where you can somehow control that, you have them coming the other way, and you don't know that they've come from China or whatever. And while they're at it, they stop off in London, or they stop off in Rome, or they stop off in Paris, and they give it to some people there. So, that was maybe not the best idea. I think the only reason he was doing that was to get at the Chinese more than to take care of the virus.
Yeah, but Alex, even before there's Trump and his travel stops and stuff like that, there's still all the bad actors in Silicon Valley, the .coms who have ties to China, who don't care about anything but their own self-interest. So I was expecting something like this sooner than later.
Phil got up and looked fed up and walked out.
What happened?
Well, I guess because I said that, the only reason he was blocking China from coming here was because he wanted to get at China. But that's my theory. It's only a theory, folks. I like to say when it's a theory. Sorry to hear about your friend. It's kind of sad to have to find it out that way, Yeah.
Yes, it is, Alex. But you know what? Thank you for giving me a platform here. Thank you for all you do for all of us as a morale booster during these times.
No, I don't do it. I don't do it.
Thank you so much.
I don't do it for you. I do it for the money.
So. A regular lamp will light you sufficiently on Skype. All right.
What?
I said to him, a regular lamp will light him sufficiently on Skype.
Yeah. Well, call us sometime when you can have your camera on and we can see what you look like. Okay?
Sounds like he's in a car.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, I have to head off. Gentlemen, you have a great night.
Thank you. I'm sorry to hear about that, but thank you for imparting it to us. It's interesting.
All right, Alex.
Okay.
Best wishes to you all. Stay healthy.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Anyway, that was interesting. I guess you were more aware of it, Kevin, because it happened right in your own backyard, right?
Yeah, well, those are the ones that we were talking about the other night.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Santa Clara County.
Kevin or Brian, was there a Chinese New Year's parade or lunar parade this year in San Francisco, or did they cancel it?
There was, but it was in early February. I think it was like February 6th.
Why you asked me that? You sent me Pelosi at the parade.
No, she wasn't at the parade. She was at a dinner talking about it.
No, she was out in the streets too at the Chinese festival there.
She was just walking through Chinatown, going into merchants.
That was February 26th or something.
Yeah. It was early. It was actually early this year because I was down in LA for it. Yeah. So actually early this year, like end of January.
I can't remember when it was, but my wife gets money at that time of the year from the company.
Red envelope.
Red pouch.
Yeah, they give a red envelope, and the people you work with who want to kind of tip you for the year put in a couple $100 in a red envelope.
According to Donald, she was dancing in the streets and running around with chicken heads.
Yeah, eating the head off bats, I guess.
Yeah.
Sipping bleach.
Yeah, sipping bleach. John, let me ask you this. You live in the Tenderloin in San Francisco, which is I guess, it used to be, people would have called it Skid Row in the old days, things like that. It's still pretty much, is it still pretty much like that?
Oh my God, there's an organization that's given out tents to homeless people. Yeah. So you literally can't walk down the sidewalks in the Tenderloin because there's so many people on the street. You got to walk in the street.
Now, how are they relating to the COVID crisis? Are they wearing the masks and everything, or are they just so out of it that they? Yeah.
There's a lot of them wearing the masks, but for the large part, they're all doing drugs, and it's a sad thing because they're trying to get them off the street and everything, but there's just so many people. It's it's a horrible situation.
Yeah.
They getting hotels for them?
Well, they're trying. Yeah, they've I think Newsom got about some like 7,000 rooms. We got about 7,000 people off the streets, but that's just a fraction of what's on there. I was talking to a cop a couple days ago in Civic Center, and I looked over in front of Civic Center, and when Art Agnos was mayor, they had this thing called Tent City, where all the homeless people were out in front of Civic Center,
Right.
but they're not there now. And I looked at it and I told the cop, I said, why don't they move them over there? And he goes, yeah, that's probably where they're going to be in a while. But it's a sad situation.
When I was doing a show in San Francisco, I saw the whole problem with the tents in front of City Hall.
Yeah.
And I had Willie Brown on, who was mayor at the time. And I said, Willie, why don't you talk with these people? Why don't you go down there and talk to the people and see what their problem is and what their needs are and how they could solve it? And Willie said, that's a great idea, Alex. We're going to do that. So I arranged for us to do our show one morning from the Civic Center with all the people living in those tents and everything. And then Willie Brown was going to come down, and we were going to hold like a town meeting with Willie Brown and these poor people where they could tell them what their needs were and what the situation was so he could get a better idea of it, a better handle on it. And Willie Brown came down for 5 minutes and then left.
Yeah.
Did it say that those people don't vote? And so
well, that's probably what he was thinking of. He left in about 5 minutes, and I just went, "Fuck him."
Then they stole your microphone?
Huh? What?
Then they stole the microphone?
No. I talked to the people. We did a whole show with homeless that morning. And I thought we could do something really good. They'd have a couple of hours with the mayor, and we'd all have a town meeting. And they could say what their problems were and why they were there and how they wound up in that condition. And the mayor could get more of an idea of who these people were, not that they were just a bunch of people who were parked out in front of City Hall. So,
do you have it on tape? That's like a time capsule. Do you have that on tape?
No, I don't. I may. I have all these tapes that were sent to me from California, and I go through them, and I don't know. One of them, there might be one there that says, Civic Center. But that one hasn't been sent to me yet, so.
Yeah, because, that would be really interesting. Here it is, what's that, 20 some odd years earlier?
Yeah.
And, and all of a sudden,
Basically, they still have the same problem in San Francisco, only it's even a little more profound because you got all these silicones coming in and taking over even the cheapest apartments in town, which are now like $4,000,
Yeah.
And it's really.
Remember the studio on 9th Street?
Yeah, turn the light on, would you? In there, we can't see it, John. It's like I'm talking to a couple of eyes, and that's about it. There we go. Well, that's slightly better.
Yeah, you remember? There was the John Bull across the street.
Yes, across from our old radio studio. There was a bar right across the street, and anytime I wanted to go find Bob Rubin, who was one of the comedians on the show, I'd have to go over to the John Bull because that's where he would be. Because this bar, you got to really be an alcoholic to go to this bar because it opened up for selling booze at 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay,
yeah.
You could open up a bar at 6 o'clock in the morning, and this was maybe the only bar in San Francisco that was open at 6. And you'd go in there, and you'd see genuine alkies. I mean,
yeah,
No breakfast.
and those were Rube's people.
Still there.
Do they serve fruit?
Huh? Do they sell food?
No.
Well,
Do they
yeah,
serve
right. Do you want to eat food in the
Yeah,
John
those little
Bull?
packs of peanuts on the back of the bar is what they sell for food.
Yeah.
Now you realize how nice it was working at Camel. You had the view of the bay.
Yeah.
You could walk across the street to Pier 39, eat at the Eagle Cafe.
Right. Right.
That was nice. Plus, it had parking.
But the John Bull had flavor, And what was best on the corner, they had this store that was like a bodega. And they sold all kinds of stuff in there, everything from cigarettes to, candy to craft macaroni and cheese and stuff like that, you know. And then on this one shelf, they had wigs, hair pieces. They were $5 hair pieces. And we would buy like 10. I'd buy like 10 of them and then go back to my audience and have them all put them on, you know. I mean, they were the worst. I can't imagine anybody wearing this hairpiece. And the one time I wore it in the rain and it just fell apart, you know.
Oh my.
So anyway, well, that isn't the last time I had a hairpiece, though. I actually bought a hairpiece once. Everybody was losing their hair. At one time or another buys a hairpiece. And I bought one. And it cost me $1,000, and the guy was supposed to give me 2 of them for $1,000. He was supposedly the best hairpiece maker in town. It looked horrible. I mean,
Did you advertise for the Hair Club for Men?
No.
Was that one of your advertisers?
No.
I think it was.
No.
It wasn't the hair. No.
But anyway, this guy gave me this hairpiece, and the only time I ever wore it, we did this TV show called Alex Bennett Wired Again, and in the last scene in the show, I play a bartender and I wear the hairpiece. And I still have that tape. Maybe some night I'll run it here so you can see me with the hairpiece.
Yes.
In fact, I will do that because it's pretty disgusting.
How was it styled? Was it styled you were in New York in the 70s, or?
No, it was just it was just hair. It didn't
long, short.
No, it was just it fit here, and then it just.
I think I remember it. I think it was just like a regular haircut, wasn't it?
Oh, kind
like
of, yeah.
It was just plop it on the top.
Plopped on the top, and then but the problem with hair pieces is, I mean, this is the problem you get into with hair pieces. You've got so much maintenance you've got to do with those things, you know. You had to put tape on or glue on the thing so it would stick, and then you'd have to worry about it staying there. And you want to wear it on a date, and you go home with someone to have sex, and she runs her hand through your hair, and she's got her hair in her hand. I mean, come on,
They stink after a few days.
It's better to go bald and just live with it and be honest about it, Phil, than to try and cover it up with a phony baloney looking hairpiece. Like half of the guys in Washington D.C., these senators and congressmen, wear some of the worst hairpieces going.
And everybody knows.
Yeah, everybody knows. An Aborigine from the outback in Australia who has never seen another man could look at this guy for the first time in his life, and the first thing he would say was, wig. You know. I mean, but, I think most guys who lose their hair at one time or another want to see if they can do something about it, right?
Plugs.
You got plugs. I'll tell you the people who really have a problem with it. When somebody loses their hair really young, like my friend David Feldman lost his hair when he was like 20, started losing it when he was 20. And so he got plugs and he did everything he could. It was like an obsession with him. When I started losing my hair, I was 45 maybe. And so, okay, I had it for a while. It's kind of like how I feel about this whole prostate thing right now. Okay, well, it worked for a while. I had a good time with it. I've lived longer than I should. So what I got to pay it for it is that, it doesn't perform at the same expectancy that it once did, so be it. But if I were like 18 and I couldn't get it up and they had to do something to my prostate, I'd go insane. It'd drive you nuts. So people lose their hair early. It's the same thing. I don't want to liken it to losing your prostate, but why not?
I think also back then, you're so popular too. I mean, did you really care? I mean, you had, women fuck you money and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
He wore a hat.
Yeah. I didn't wear a hat.
Yeah, one time.
At the very beginning, I wore a hat, but that wasn't to cover the balding. It hadn't really started yet. I wore a hat because I didn't want anybody to know what I looked like.
Because I remember you sent me back to Sausalito because they were going to take pictures of you at the studio.
Right.
And I ran back
for the first couple of years in San Francisco, nobody had a real picture of me because I felt that the great mystery of radio was nobody knew what you looked like, and they had to conjure up images in their mind. And I like that theater of the mind. And so if I wore a hat and dark glasses, nobody could really tell what I looked like. They could only assume what I looked like. And it wasn't done to cover up my hair. And finally I decided, enough with that, because I started doing TV and things like that. And I said, I'll just...
Well, you were doing TV. You were doing TV 20. You were doing a lot of other TV stuff like on Channel 9.
So I decided then it was, I didn't go with the mystery look anymore, as I call it, But.
Yeah, you wore a football helmet on TV 20.
Well, but with I still have it.
Propeller on the top.
I still have it. It had propeller on the top. Yeah.
UHF.
Yeah, I was Captain UHF. Right. And I had this killer rabbit or something, a puppet that would try to kill me all the time. Yeah.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah. That was mine.
But I do remember we used to have a list of the times that you were coming on.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd watch that show, but we'd only watch like at 5:45.
Well, we had a movie, and then we did the stuff in the interstitial part of the movie. So I knew when those segments were coming up, and those weren't the days where we had like computer files and I could just take it home and look at it.
Right. So
I don't even have any of that. I don't even remember what it looked like.
Yeah. We watch TV and they say, okay, it's coming up. So, we wouldn't watch the movie, just the little part.
Yeah. So, and
what tapes did you bring back? What tapes did you bring back from Petaluma?
From Petaluma?
Well, I mean, from your storage.
Oh, my storage. Damien been sending me some of the cassettes, audio cassettes. I still have to get more from him, and he hasn't done anything about it. And right now is no time to have him do it. So,
from Live 105 stuff.
Yeah, Live 105. I want to get all the audio cassettes, and then I've got video. I've got tons of video.
Wow.
I'd like to get most of it if I could, but it's kind of difficult right now. So, anyway, we got about a minute left here. Gosh, well, we've managed to. What Scott wrote? Basically, Alex claims Howard Stern stole his shtick. I don't claim it. It's true.
He did.
Yeah, he did. Who said that?
Somebody
Brian?
on there also said that he stole your wig.
Really?
Well,
he wears extensions, and they used to be mine. So I mean, what the hell?
Not a gray hair on his head.
So anyway, well, we're living in the time of the coronavirus, and I don't think any of us will forget it. Okay, this is the kind of time we're just not going to forget. This is as unusual as it gets. I don't think I've had in my lifetime an experience like this. Any of you? Can any of you say that anything else has topped it?
No.
I remember sitting at home and watching the World Trade Center come down, and I thought that was the worst I was ever going to see. Well,
the 89 earthquake was pretty devastating in San Francisco.
Well, yes, but you were only out of your apartment for a certain amount of time, or you were out of it completely, but it resolved itself in a different way. If you weren't dead, you survived it, and you went on with your life.
Event.
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
long and drawn out.
This, who knows how long this is going to go, But
May 1st.
No, I don't think I wouldn't plan on it, Phil.
Prediction in a previous show.
Yeah, no, it's not.
What'll last?
Hey, Phil, your first car wash is free.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, and don't forget to bring the bleach. Anyway, that's it. Thank you very much, Brian. Good seeing you again tonight. God, we love having you on this show. Boy, what an addition to the lineup. Jeff didn't say anything again 2 nights in a row for the most part, but that's fine. He adds to our numbers. Charlie, thank you for calling. I appreciate it. John Larkin from the Tenderloin in San Francisco, thank you. Phil, thank you. Kevin, thank you. Tony, thank you. And, of course, Patrick, thank you. What I'd like you all to do is to give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye to you as well. Okay, there they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's the Citizens Panel. Bye. Okay, that's them. And hopefully some of them will stick around and go talk to Jack Bishop, who's coming up next with the intersection over most of this same GabNet. I'll be back here again tomorrow night. Same time, same station in life. And in the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody. Have a nice night and stay safe.